excited to come here today and talk about delivery. I think as Susie kind of alluded to, obviously the food space is constantly changing and evolving, and food delivery is obviously a huge part of that. I feel like that's why I'm here today. That's why you guys are here, is food delivery is moving quickly and fast growing. So as she said, I work for Eat Street. At Eat Street, we do online food ordering for restaurants. So we provide an online portal for customers to come find restaurants in their area that they can order directly through us and through those restaurants for delivery and for pickup. And along with that, in select markets, we also launched delivery. So for restaurants who are interested in getting started in delivery and don't want to do it themselves, we have the ability to provide that last mile delivery for those restaurants. So we work with about 15,000 restaurants across the country. Some we do delivery for ourselves, the majority of which do their own delivery. So we know a lot about the pains and the struggles of doing delivery themselves and getting that started. So hopefully we can share those with you today. The idea of the talk is to do more of a high-level overview of what delivery and getting delivery started for your restaurant looks like. The idea today is not to get in the granularities of overall insurance and what you should be looking for there and the small things about delivery, but hopefully you're just first having that thought about wanting to offer delivery from your restaurant, or you're a little bit further down the road of thinking about it, but we can talk about some of the high-level things with offering delivery and hopefully bring some things to light for you as well that maybe you're not thinking of, or some different things and different ways to think about things as you offer delivery for your restaurants. So the idea today is to first identify if delivery is right for you and your business. There are businesses that delivery is not the right fit for. And I think coming to that conclusion right off the bat before you go any further is fantastic. We'll talk about some keys to success and some pitfalls to avoid. Those two things, just like anything else, somewhat go hand in hand. There's some similarities between the two, but we'll discuss those. And then finally, there are options available to you for doing delivery. I think there are 3 really good options available that we can talk through, which is great in 2018 to have those options available to you to do delivery. So if you want to, you don't have to take on the entire burden yourself. Excellent. Just wanted to throw this out there really quickly. Food delivery, currently a $43 billion business. I've seen a lot of numbers around that. I think that's the most accurate and the most consistent one that I can find. Obviously, it'd be great for all of us to get a small piece of that $43 billion, but this is growing every single year. It's massive. I've seen projections, and obviously those are just projections, but this quadrupling over the next 4 years, which is massive. One of our favorite stats is that 15% of Americans are ordering food delivery at least once per week. It's a massive number, which just shows the popularity of food delivering and how much it's booming. The cool thing is that delivery is not just growing with millennials. The 22 to 30-year-old age group, the young professionals with disposable income and no time to cook, those are obviously the ones that we think about a lot of times ordering delivery, but the 35 to 44 age group is growing just as quickly. The new or intermediate families with no time to cook, looking for an option for the family and ordering delivery for its convenience. So obviously, we love seeing that 35 to 44 age group grow. We see higher tickets and more restaurants and different sort of cuisine types are getting ordered than your normal 18 to 25-year-old ordering the pizza and the subs and those options. Before we move any farther, I just want to throw this one out there, and it's not to scare anybody, but delivery is really hard. It is not easy. We say this to all of our restaurants. It will take up more of your time than you think. More things will go wrong than you think of. The staffing, hiring, and retention of drivers, forecasting how many drivers you'll need for a particular shift, customer issues, the number of customers that, depending on what time you're doing delivery or not what time you're doing delivery, fall asleep before the food gets delivered. Their phones die. There are a lot of issues that come with this, driver issues like cars breaking down and drivers just not showing up for shifts. It's a really, really difficult thing to do. But with that, it's a fantastic way to grow your business and certainly reach a new audience or service your existing audience and customers. Right off the bat, we want to talk about is the different food types and how that relates to delivery, different restaurant types. If you're looking to use delivery as a way to build a brand or continue to build upon a previously established one, and also your location. Location plays a huge role in whether or not delivery is correct for your business. So Food types. This probably comes as a surprise to nobody, but pizza makes up the majority of the delivery business. This is for one because it travels well. That layer of cheese creates a nice insulation for the pizza to keep it warm. Secondly, there's a first mover advantage there. People always think of pizza as the deliverable food item. And that's why pizza makes up the majority of the delivery business. The other major staples are Asian food and subs, mainly because those can travel really easily as well. But what we've found at Eat Street across the country is that people are looking for different food types to get delivered. No longer is the average customer just want the basic pizza or sub delivered to them. They want burgers, they want tacos, they want sushi. And so now more than ever, people want those different food types delivered. My key to everybody here would be to try it out for yourself. We work with restaurants who deliver coffee, who deliver yogurt, deliver shakes, things that you wouldn't even think have the ability to be delivered, and they end up getting a ton of orders because people never thought that that's something they could have straight to their door before. It's really important to see how your product travels when you're trying this out. We work with a lot of brands who we will order a bunch of different food types or even take their food and travel with it to see how well it travels. See what your time frame is before your food quality really starts to deteriorate. Fries is a big one. The minute those are out of the fryer, we've got a really finite amount of time to get those delivered out to the customer. You also have the ability to try different packaging to preserve your food type and your food quality, which is really important as well. Restaurant types, obviously your restaurant type matters a ton, whether you're fine dining or you're fast casual. The fast casual restaurants, now more than ever, customers sort of expect, depending on your locale, that you will offer delivery to them. Our fine dining restaurants don't have that same expectation from their customers, but again, we're finding that 35 to 44 age group, or even that 22 to 45 age group is looking for a different food type. Not only that, but they're looking for a better quality food. So oftentimes these fine dining restaurants or these better quality restaurants are offering what these customers are looking for. On top of that, we see it more than ever that restaurants are ordering food in for meetings, for company events. They don't want to be ordering in the fast casual pizzas of the world. They're looking for a more popular or better food type for their customers or for their employees. So whether or not you're using delivery to build a new brand or service an existing one, I really think it fits both. And essentially what will happen is if you have a currently strong brand and a loyal customer base, people will be excited about ordering your food for delivery. It's going to be very easy for you to promote that. You'll be able to use your current customer base. You'll be able to leverage your social media and in-store customers to advertise your new delivery. You throw some car toppers on some delivery vehicles. People will recognize your name, your brand, and they'll know what that car topper means, that you guys are now offering delivery. Not only that, but you'll be able to service new customers as well. So you can service your existing customers and maintain that base. You have more touch points with your existing customers. You can also service new customers as well. If you're trying to grow a customer base in a brand, you're a new restaurant or just a restaurant that's looking to do this, it's a great way to find new customers and build a brand. We talk about pizza, and the reason that pizza is the biggest delivery option right now is the first mover advantage. They really have ingrained in people's minds the fact that that is the cuisine to order for delivery. But what we see over and over again in markets is that the first person to offer tacos or the first person to offer sushi for delivery, that first mover advantage is massive. It ingrains the idea in people's minds in that city or that locale that X restaurant is the place to get sushi delivered. And those others moving in later will have a harder time sort of dethroning that restaurant. It's going to be a more difficult route to launching delivery yourself and getting volume if you don't have that pre-existing brand. We'll talk more about the importance of volume later and what role that plays. Location. So obviously rural versus suburban areas. We work a lot more in the rural areas, the Madisons and the Milwaukees of the world than maybe the Appletons or the Green Bays. But regardless, we see delivery business booming in all markets. There's a question here of kind of what is your delivery zone? How far do you want to deliver in a particular market, depending on how rural your market is? How many customers can you service in a reasonable delivery zone? We'll talk more about what that reasonable delivery time is for restaurants, but a reasonable delivery zone would be something like 20 to 25 minutes from restaurant to customer. This keeps in line the service levels that customers are looking for when ordering delivery. It also, for the most part, keeps in line the food quality from the restaurant to make sure that you're preserving that food quality and preserving your brand. The other thing to think about is driver happiness, and we'll talk more about drivers a little later, but keeping your drivers happy is crucial to the success of your delivery business. So the farther they're driving, the more you're going to pay in mileage, and the more unhappy they're going to be putting that wear and tear on their vehicles. And the fewer tips, the longer that they can deliver, they'll be turning over. So depending on how you want to pay your drivers, we'll talk about it, but drivers are incredibly tip incentivized. If they're not turning over tasks really, really quickly, in their minds, they'll think that they're not getting paid appropriately. So understanding your delivery zone and the way that would affect driver happiness is important as well. The final thing I'll throw on here, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this a few times, is online ordering. So third-party online ordering portals like EatStreet or Grubhub are fantastic ways to promote your delivery business right off the bat. These companies like us and Grubhub have active diner bases that are looking to order food for delivery. They will highlight new restaurants, so it's a great way to tap into customers looking for delivery right off the bat. That could be your existing customers that use Grubhub or EatStreet on the side, or it could be new customers that are looking to try different cuisine types. We see it all the time with our customers. They generally won't order the same restaurant over and over again. They're interested and they're curious to go find different restaurants and cuisine types. It's a way to you really use us as a consultative service. We work with a lot of restaurants on what should their delivery zone look like, what should their hours look like. We can provide them with market insights. We can say where the majority of customers lie within an area. Don't deliver 20 minutes out this way. There are no customers ordering delivery right now for us in that area. Try these other areas, maybe expand your zone, expand your hours to reach more customers so you're not missing peak areas or peak times. Cool. We'll talk about some of the keys for a successful delivery business. Like I said, these certainly overlap with some of the pitfalls as well, and we'll kind of try to cover both separately here. The first thing to think about is costs. Obviously, the idea of launching a delivery business is not to go lose money. It's to hopefully increase your business and have some incremental sales along with it. So an understanding of all your costs, your margins and profits on a delivery order is important. And I think that one way that we really at EatStreet try to always ingrain this in the minds of our restaurant is there are so many little things that eat into your profits and your margins when offering delivery. The cost of the additional insurance that you'll need for drivers, the extra labor that you'll have to do, the drivers that you'll hire, mileage for drivers, just a few examples of these little costs that you'll have. I always love when our restaurants use their drivers as employees in store when they're not out delivering. I think that's one of the smartest ways to utilize very early on when maybe you're not bringing in the volume that you want with delivery, to use your drivers in store to take advantage of their time. Also understanding your tips and how much your drivers are going to make versus how much needs to come out of your pocket on a per delivery basis. Making sure your drivers are well taken care of and making sure that you're not needing to pay extra on top of anything to keep them happy and in store, and maybe what that is depending on your city and the competitive environment for hiring these drivers. A big thing that we always talk with a lot of our restaurants about is their total cost per delivery to the diner, the delivery fee. This can range anywhere from $0 to $6.99 depending on the restaurants. There's a big difference for customers when they're trying to order delivery and they know the delivery is free versus it being $3.99. Depending on what your margins are, you might be able to offer delivery for free. Most of our restaurants either can't or don't choose to, which is fine. We've seen that there's no difference between paying $2, $3, or $3.99. At a certain point, the customer understands that extra $1.99 is not going to deter them from ordering your food, especially if you're offering new delivery or a different food type that's available to the diner. They're happy to pay a little bit more for a better quality of food. And also, the cost per delivery is a great way to offset your total costs, which we'll talk about. Some other small things, additional costs, delivery bags depending on your food type, to-go packaging for your food, car toppers if you're promoting your delivery, and plastic cutlery, to-go stuff, anything like that. These little things add up so quickly when we're talking about delivery. Cool. One thing that we really focus on when offering our delivery and our restaurants who do it the most economically and the smartest think about this very similarly is what we call ODH, or orders per driver per hour. This all boils down to what your total cost of delivery is going to come down to. So what's your tipped minimum wage, or what's the minimum wage that you're going to pay your drivers? What's your average tip on an order? And how many orders can your driver deliver an hour? These are all super crucial to understanding the final margins and profits for you on deliveries. As I said already, drivers are super tip incentivized. They want to deliver as many orders as possible. If they're not turning orders over quickly, in their minds, they're not making as much money as they could doing something else or other things. They are an interesting breed of employee for sure. So put an example down here. The Wisconsin tipped minimum wage is $2.33. The average tip from this example restaurant is $3. And a driver must make $7.25 per hour. If you're turning over 1.5 orders per hour or deliveries per hour on average, that means the average driver is making $6.83 an hour. That driver made $4.50 in tips plus the $2.33, so 42 cents needs to come from somewhere. And that is if you're lucky, and minimum wage is an acceptable wage to be paying a delivery driver to retain them and keep them on board. What we found more and more in a ton of these cities, depending on the city that you're in, is thanks to the gig economy and Uber and Lyft, people who are looking to utilize their cars to make an income have so many more ways to go. We're looking more at paying our drivers somewhere in the, depending on the market, $10 to $14 an hour range. Then the question becomes, what do you charge for your delivery fee? If you charged a $3.99 delivery fee based off of all of this, you made $3.24 an order. That's before you include the additional insurance cost, the mileage that you pay the driver, and the other costs that you incur. So I'd encourage everybody to break this down of what they think orders delivered per hour can be on a driver basis. That's really going to give you the format to break down your final delivery. And there's an ODH limit as well. We hear this from a lot of restaurants who we work with. They say, oh, well, I can deliver 6 orders in an hour. There's a particular limit there between driver capacity and service levels, which we'll talk about more. But we find a sweet spot for ODH for most of our drivers being somewhere in the 2 to 2.5 range. That way we can have the best levels of service to our customers, and that's usually about the max capacity our drivers can service in about a 20 to 25 minute driving delivery range, making sure we don't get a ton of those long orders on the peripherals of that delivery zone. Oh, one other thing I should add here too is with that delivery fee, a lot of our restaurants pass that on to the driver. So they get an extra $1 for every order that they deliver along with their tip. So that can be a great way to offset that cost. Talking about order volume, obviously with the ODH, what you need to do is be able to drive order volume into the restaurant. And the big question that we ask a lot of our restaurants when they're first offering delivery is are you willing to put the resources behind promoting your delivery business? Updating your current marketing materials like menus, to-go flyers or coupons, in-store materials, flyers when offering the check at in-store, updating your website and leveraging your social media. Enabling delivery on your website is a massive one. Once you promote on your site that you have delivery, along with the ability to order delivery through an online ordering company on your website, that's not necessarily a portal, that's using, I'm sure, whatever POS system you have offers an online ordering solution. Putting it on there and promoting your delivery. Car toppers is a great one. For anybody interested in the marketing side of things, the dynamic versus the static advertisement is massive. The dynamic advertisement has a whole lot more staying power than just the static advertising. On top of that, car toppers, all customers have an association with what a car topper means and what it is. When they see your brand on that, they'll know that you're now offering delivery. And then obviously join online food ordering services like Eat Street or Grubhub. Will connect you with customers and work to market your business. Talking about the customers and that sort of that ODH capacity that your drivers have, diners obviously want their food as fast as possible. Diners, when ordering delivery, have a very low tolerance for things going wrong or for long deliveries. We find the average diner expects their food in about approximately 45 minutes. Once it gets from about 45 to 60 minutes, there starts to become this idea of anxiety being built up within the diner. They wonder where their food is, if it's going to be late, if it's ever going to come, and about 60 minutes is the very top of that threshold. I've done a lot of studies on this. I know a lot of people have in the delivery space, but diners who get their deliveries in about 35 to 45 minutes are more likely to reorder from your restaurant. So I put on the very bottom here, a big zone looks very sexy, but a smaller zone could certainly result in a better experience and a better experience for everybody, the customer and the restaurant. If you're servicing customers really quickly in 35 to 45 minutes, they're more likely to come back. It's more consistent with the high quality brand and the brand standards that you have for your restaurants. And that way you're not having existing customers get cold food or bad delivery service, and new customers you aren't turning away with that as well. And then we already talked about how does this impact your food quality, making sure that you're delivering a consistent food product with delivery that's up to your standards. And one of the things you always hear, obviously, when you order delivery, and on Eat Street we offer these estimated times for delivery. Diners will hold you to those times. So if you tell them their food's going to be there in 45 minutes and it's 55 minutes, they're going to think their food is 10 minutes late. If you tell them 60 minutes and you get there earlier, they're going to be ecstatic that the food is early. So always as a precaution, be careful about the times that you're quoting your customers. We'll talk some about the challenges of delivery. Obviously, those keys to success are also challenges, but one of the huge ones is volume and staffing. And that's being staffed and prepared for busy times and staffing during inclement weather or big events. One of the hardest things with delivery is when you do see a spike in orders. If that's you have one driver on staff and you get 4 orders within an hour, about 2 of those customers, if not 3 of them, maybe only 1 of them, is going to have a bad experience with delivery because you just got absolutely slammed with orders based on the number of drivers that you have in store. Usually those spikes come at the busiest times, lunch and dinner, when you would have no other help in the restaurant for all of you. So there's a big question here of how do you forecast volume and subsequently staff drivers appropriately. A lot of that comes with historical data, but I think making and putting together a contingency plan for these unexpected situations really early on and having a flexible team and staff as you first offer delivery is important. Having people on your staff understand there might be times where they need to pitch in with delivery. Maybe it's yourself, the owner or a manager, that when you get slammed early on as just a test for delivery needs to pitch in and get out and deliver some food if this ends up happening. Other contingency plans for other things like we talked about, driver gets sick, they quit on a shift, their car breaks down. All of these things will happen and are very likely to happen at some point during your delivery experiment. The other thing is you don't want to be out there promoting your delivery business and having it be unavailable. A diner calls in and we can't handle orders right now, we apologize. That's a terrible experience for that diner. They're very unlikely to come back and use you for delivery again. Drivers, we've talked a lot about drivers. They end up being the backbone of your business, and they are so important to the ecosystem of Eat Street. Driver recruitment and retention are really, really difficult. We already talked about the gig economies. Uber, Lyft, we are out here hiring drivers. Grubhub is. Uber Eats is now massive as well and trying to hire additional drivers. So driver recruitment and retention is really difficult. We use Craigslist, Indeed, word of mouth. And then when we get drivers in the door, we do our best to make sure we take care of them. We make sure that they're paid a competitive wage versus what's going on in that particular city or locale. We make sure that their needs and their concerns are being taken care of. If they're unsure of delivering to unsafe zones, that we're hearing out those concerns and making sure that we're really taking them to heart for the drivers. The other thing with drivers, too, is that you want to make sure you're hiring good people. They represent your brand. They are your touch point when you're delivering with your customer. Whereas in store, it's your host or your hostess. Here, it's your delivery driver. And we see it time and time again that customers will have bad experience with the delivery driver, and it really tarnishes their view of your brand. And then scheduling. What hours are you delivering for? We have a lot of restaurants who, it's just the old 11 to 8. They service lunch and dinner and in between. One of my favorite things that a lot of our restaurants do when they first start launching delivery services is they offer delivery from 11 to 2 and then from 5 to 8. They service lunch, they service dinner, they don't service that in between time, and they're definitely not dealing with late night, as that can be a major pain. Cool. At low volume, your insurance costs, your labor costs, everything else eats at your profit. And that's kind of where the ODH comes in. The lower that orders delivered per hour is, the lower your margins and the more that these additional costs are just going to eat at your profits. Unexpected situations are going to come up and they can be costly as well. Customer doesn't answer their phone, they don't answer the door. That food costs that you have right there, if you didn't take a credit card order over the phone and it was a cash order, you're just eating that food cost right there. or the delivery driver grabs the wrong food, delivers the wrong food, or the order was taken incorrectly. Obviously, these all end up being costs that come out of your pocket, whether it's coupons to the diner to keep them coming back to you, or overall just the loss of the food. This is why promotion and customer retention are so valuable, and using the promotional tools to get the word out and acquire new drivers, as well as making sure that you're always providing a great experience for the diners so they want to come back. The food quality and food accuracy is on point. The delivery is fast, and they've had a great interaction with the driver. Finally, we'll wrap up by just talking about some of the delivery options you have available to yourself. Obviously, number one is do it yourself, which we just spent 29 minutes talking about, so we won't get too deeply into it. But there are two other really good options available to the restaurants, which are online ordering services that offer delivery like ourselves, and these restaurant delivery services that exist in a lot of markets that are just sort of like homegrown startups that would help you deliver your food, and are great options as well. Obviously, the pros of doing it yourself, you get to control your own brand, and I think this is a big one for a lot of our restaurants. Our goal at Eat Street is to make sure that we are representing your brand correctly as well. But if you have full control of your brand and you have full control from the point that the customer places the order to the point they receive it, that's an awesome brand experience for that customer. You get to keep more of the profits for yourself. Obviously, online ordering companies and restaurant delivery services will charge you a fee for the convenience of using them. Cons, again, we just talked about a lot about these, but staffing, scheduling, and retention of drivers, the upfront costs and insurance costs, and the unforeseen circumstances, customers, car trouble, weather, all of that stuff, these companies will take on for you. Using a third-party delivery service. So again, this would be an online ordering portal that offers delivery like Uber Eats, Grubhub, or Eat Street, or a restaurant delivery service. Again, I'd encourage you, if you're interested in trying a short delivery test, to use one of us or use a restaurant delivery service. A lot of them are very homegrown, local businesses that have been started up. They will take your brand and your food and your entire system very, very seriously. The pros of this is obviously these companies and ourselves, we will staff, manage, and schedule all drivers. We'll connect you with new diners. A lot of these restaurant delivery services as well have their own websites. I know one that's very popular in Wisconsin is Food Dudes. They have their own online ordering on fooddudes.com, as well as providing delivery for any call-in orders that you might get as well. For the most part, a lot of these services like Eat Street are just pay-per-performance marketing companies. So we take a commission on every order that we send to the restaurant. There's no upfront fees. So for a small delivery test right off the bat, there's no startup costs. There's no monthly contracts that you have to sign. So it's a good way to just kind of dip your toes in the water and give it a try and see what sort of volume you're driving to the restaurant. They also absorb all the costs like insurance and bags and make it very, very easy to start up and try out. The other thing too is if you do try it out and you want to take it on later, you're getting the volume, you can always leave these services or leave the delivery aspect of these services and take on delivery yourself. The cons is that they can be costly. You don't control the entire process and the brand yourself. So, cool. The final thing I've got, again, I'd be remiss if I didn't do a little bit of self-promotion during this talk. Use online ordering companies like Eat Street and Grubhub. Again, our goals are aligned with yours. We're pay-per-performance marketing companies. We are marketing companies. Our whole goal is to drive diners, new diners and existing diners back to restaurants to get everybody as many incremental orders and sales and new diners as possible. We love promoting new restaurants and cuisine types because our diners are always hungry for more. They're hungry for new restaurants. They're hungry for pizza, and they're not for pizza, but for sushi and fries and shakes and new things. And if you're new to delivery, it's a great way to promote your new offering. If you decide to do delivery yourself, leveraging these online ordering portals to get in front of diners who are already looking for delivery is a great way to get started, and we can make that delivery just a little bit easier for you. At the very least, I plead with you, if you're not going to use Eat Street, at least offer online ordering on your existing website. It'll help you with order accuracy. It'll make your diners appreciate you and love your restaurants even more. It kills me when I go to a restaurant and they don't have online ordering on their existing site, but I'm sure if you guys are here, you guys are already on top of that. So I appreciate the time today. That is all I've got. Hopefully that was not too high level overview of delivery for everybody. If you have any questions, I'll certainly stick around or open it up for Q&A here if anybody wants. But feel free to email me at jefferson@eatstreet, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions anybody has about their specific restaurant. So thank you.